I don't want to work on this track today, but I feel what I'm going to do is I think what I'm going to do is probably I think I think what I'm going to do with this track is just like use all the instrumental parts and then this vocal here with it in the vocal. I'll just make like a total break with all this stuff cuz it just gets fucking messy with all this shit here. You can just hear like the clash with all the drums. It's like, what the hell happened? Like, ugh. But all of these parts are fine. And it's got a pretty cool swing too, right? So, yeah, I didn't want to make a Jack and House track today because it's like I worked on this and walked away from it because what was going on is that last track that I worked on, because I've made this deal with myself in general, going, well, don't have incomplete things on your hard drive. It's not a good thing. So I'm like, I'm just gonna work on this, and then I started working on this, and I was just like, well, this is a cool idea, and then I left it, and then I think I came back the next day going, I shouldn't have left that project. I shouldn't have left it. I should have just gone, and I should do it. And then I wasn't really digging it, and then just I went back to it and then completed it, right? And then it gave me a better outlook at it, going, oh, it's a complete track, and now I'll just go show it off to friends at Northern House or whatever and stuff, because it's always cool because it's just other DJs there, some that are producers. I mean, the person who owns the studio is a producer, so we usually kind of sit down and just listen to each other's tracks, and we both do totally different music. It's cool, but I find it's kind of hard for us to give each other pointers because we don't do the same genres, and the only pointers we can really give each other is more on the end of like, turn this part up, or like, what did you do here, or like, how did you do this type thing, right? And that's cool. I mean, sonically giving each other like how to make the mix sound sonically better is a million times better than constructive criticism, because I mean, most tracks that you listen to from amateur folks, it's like, doesn't sound great, but it could be a great song, right? But I mean, I always find if you can meet in between of just having a mediocre arrangement, but having a great sounding quality record, it kind of just makes it even in the sense of like a good song, even though it could be some mediocre things. I mean, some of the most simplest songs, I mean, geez, you listen to like some Jack and House records in general. They're just cut up samples like this with drums added on them and a bass line, and most of the people don't even add anything else, and like that's it, right? Because it's just such a cool groove, and it's like the drums and bass are like what make it ride, and the percussions are like just the main thing, just changing percussions up and changing loops up. But I mean, all this just sounds great listening to it already by itself. And it's perfect. Like, these are four part like, loops, but maybe and there's so much you can do with it, with an intro just like this. Right? So it's just like you could do all this cutting and all this other cool stuff with it, Maybe this might sound cool like this. Right? So, there's so much to do with it. Like I find just these type of tracks are really fun to make. But let's just leave that and come back to it later. I just don't, ever since that, like I was saying, I think last stream would just track live. It was pretty cool, right? One second. Let's film sound friend. Perfect, entertaining, extreme, right? Look at that guy, Tex. Amazing. So cool. I want to be just like that. Sitting in a studio. Let's see. We'll make a new session. We want to locate this because I think before I was, and that's where we want to be in a Cardano folder. We will just we'll name this Sept 21st, 2023 to know when we started the project. So it gives a good idea. Damn it! I just wanted to start it with a template. Oh, no. We'll just do this. It's okay. We'll do this 21st. But yeah, it's good to give it a date because then it gives me a good idea when I look at the save as, when did I start it, and how long it took me to complete it. On average, sometimes it's a good 3 days, depending how often I'm able to work on stuff. It's kind of nice to have things completed in 3 days. I think that should be your magic number, really, of creating a song. Is 3 days. The way I look at it, you spend your first day making a loop and perfecting a loop. Second day is mixing. Third day is arranging. You're done. And then maybe a fourth day is just overlooking things. But I mean, that's what I like to do, just to get things done, because it's like, I'm definitely not a Joel West. That guy just slams tracks out like that. Go into a studio, boom, he's done. But it's like, I always find too, it's like when you're paying for studio time, you got to leave with something, right? There's just no point of paying for studio time and leaving anything versus you got your own studio at home. You're more laid back in doing things. And I mean, I think even when he had his own studio at home, he was still renting out Northern House in general. But I mean, every now and again, I think it was mainly for him to just mix, because it's a good room to mix in too, because it's treated and whatnot. Because it's funny, it's like you can just hear, like, when you have like an untreated room, that you listen. I remember my cousin had sent me a mix of his music. It sounds good, but it sounds like I'm listening to it in your room on your speakers, and it's like your mixes just sound like your speakers when you don't have any treatment in your room. Maybe if unless you're like experienced at knowing where to put things, then yeah, I mean, it's kind of the same with this room in general. It's like, yeah, it's treated, but it sounds the way it sounds, right? Um, and this is also just the placement that I have where I have my studio too, which is not proper, I don't think, right? I think I should have things. I basically should have things more down there. It's like I'm basically here, and then there's a wall back here. I mean, my studio is almost something like 10 feet away from the wall, right? So, but I mean, I have a couple of clouds over me and some bass traps there. Um, where I'm sitting, I used mirrors to put where the sound would bounce. So I looked at the wall where as soon as I see my speaker or whatever, there's a sound panel up at certain areas. And yeah, so they're in places where 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 they'd end up, right? So where sound would end up, there's panels, so it works in that sense. Okay, I wanting to use the M1, but I'm kind of feeling like I want to make like a pretty like old school sounding track, but with just modern feel to it. So I I wonder if Contact will let me add the M1 plugin to use instead. Let's see. Riser, Captain Beats. Oh, I could probably use Blue Cat Audio, Serato, Sonic Academy, Unison, Waves. So it will not let me use, but I bet you if I loaded it as a VST, because it is a VST in here, it'll let me use it in there. So then I can. I mean, I still kind of found a hack for my keyboard to tell me scales on it from using other plugins, but I just want to kind of just keep it in house and into one plugin, so I don't have to fish around. This is a fun part of just making music, is having the patience to do things. And if you don't, then you just shouldn't be making, but just enjoy the patience and looking for things and relaxing as it takes time up in your day and you start to panic because, oh, Korg, I should have known better than that. M1 VST. Idiot. Okay, so I want to browse at the base. Let's see. Hoover hit. Oh Lord. Come on. Are you serious? Are you serious? Is it this crap? Let's see. Oh. It's probably not going to work because oh, it's because that. See, this is what it can be quite annoying with Pro Tools. Channel 1. Perfect. There you go. That can be so annoying sometimes. Hey, I'm Steve Aoki. Hey, it's Seinfeld. I've never really gone through these that much. Let's do dance techno, which will help me find something faster. Hey, that's part of dance techno? Wow. I'd be pretty cool with an arpeggiator. Who's bothering me now? DMB bass. Jeez, I had like a bass line hummed in my head and now I forgot. So I should always just record them. Whatever, I'm sure I'll make something cool. Don't really think there's anything here for me, honestly. This plugin's like great for it's piano and like the organ. Just those main house song, those main like instruments that people love to use in house or that are coming back. Say